What's up? I'm Brianna Ivy, and this is the Hear From a Professional podcast. Previously on the Hear From a Student podcast.
In the class, he basically said, how many of you are good at chemistry? We always our hand up like, this is cheese, like, that's all I hear. What do you mean? How many of us good at chemistry? And then he goes, forget everything you know about chemistry. You know how GT had like hell weeks? Where it's like exams, classes, tests, all these different things in addition to like a career fair, big career fair. That was the week that told me that I didn't know how to study because I had 4 exams. The results were not very pleasing. Basically, separation was like how you separate crude oil into different like gas products, but transfer was more so about like the process of like the different fluids involved in the process, like going into the like distillation column for separation. Mm-hmm. How do you think about those liquids?
So now you've since graduated. Congratulations, you are an engineer by trade. Where do you work now, and what is your role, and what does it look like day to day? If you can get into it, I don't know.
So high level.
That's the name of this episode. High level.
High level. That's the name of the episode. Everything is just
for sure.
So I currently work as a technical product owner at Georgia Pacific. So after graduating, my last semester of undergrad, spring of 2020, I actually interned with Georgia Pacific. Okay. So while taking all those classes, I also like co-opted, I guess you say it was. And I was able to co-op because GP, Georgia Pacific, had an office in Tech Square. Oh. So I made all my classes for most days I had like afternoon classes. Mm-hmm. So I'll wake up in the morning at like 7:30, 6:30, 7, and I'll walk to my internship. Mm-hmm. I'll walk there, work till about midday, 1 o'clock, go to class, sometimes come back, other times like finish what I'm doing remotely on my computer. Yeah. But points, I think I did like a couple of like 20 plus-ish hours a week. So it was a decent balance because like sometimes I would work not from the office. Yeah. I would work maybe like in class and I have some free time, or maybe during some free time after class during Nesby, something. I found a way to make it work. So I worked as an electrical engineering intern. Very interesting.
Yeah, yes. Look at you on the dark side. Okay.
The Sparkies, man. Yeah, so my original role actually was is process engineering. So I was a remote process engineering intern. Okay. But I focused mostly on electrical processes. Okay. So for folks who don't know, as an engineer, basically, if you go into manufacturing, a lot of engineering roles, they call it process engineering. Yeah. Because you're involved in different parts of the process. And in my case, I was more electrical than anything. Yeah. I was electrical. So thinking about load imbalance, thinking about voltages, and thinking about like, what do you call them? I don't do that anymore, like controllers and how to program controllers, PLC programmers, and all those things. Basically, I had to learn those things. So a lot of my internship was focused on me learning those things with the having of like, after graduation, like kind of just like roll into my full-time position without them having to relearn anything. So point being, I started as a remote process engineer, as an electrical engineering intern. And after which I moved from there into being an engineering manufacturing lead, but only for discrete processes, which is just a part of what my original team was. But instead, I just led that division for discrete manufacturing. And as time went on, I believe in my case, I kind of switched, not kind of, but I switched into data engineering.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Data engineering is, in my opinion, not a degree or not a role that you have to go to college, particularly for my company anyways, because it just involves you learning how to build like dashboards, creating analysis for the engineers, and just like overall things like you build different tools. You also kind of work as a project manager for the team that you're allocated to. Yeah. And in my case, I kind of went from being an engineering manufacturing lead on the electrical team to being the data engineer for the electrical team. So it made life easy because like now, like I know exactly what they want.
Yeah.
I know what like my previous boss and colleagues and folks that worked in our team, I knew what they wanted to see out of like the dashboards or what kind of analysis or models they wanted to build. So like all I needed was a problem statement. Like what is the person we are facing today? And I knew how to address it. I felt like the different tools that was given to me as a data engineer at GP. My company did some reorganization and a lot of data engineers stay data engineers, but then I was given an offer to move to technical product ownership side of things, where instead of doing the hands-on like data engineering items, I can kind of work with them on the side, but my role was more so to be a product owner and to own a couple of models that I had built in the past, data engineer, and some services that my company kind of owned. So my day to day, what that involves is, I guess, is want to kind of highlight first that my company has multiple sites across like the United States, and we have one tech hub. The tech hub is where I work for. In Atlanta, it's like a small engineering office where like all the data flows into. We build their models. We have different phone calls in terms of how we can support them better at the sites, and we have services that help them. Like let's say, for example, on a paper machine, we're always having loose coupling. Loose couplings can always be found by like that's a mechanical defect. So we have vibration sensors that help us sense that. Like let's say a particular site comes to me and they go, "Oh, BJ, we've had this issue up here 1 or 2 times. What do you think we can like do to resolve that?" And a lot of my role involves research into what we already have and research into like potential better opportunities. Because that's one I've seen a couple of times across different companies, I know like my first step is okay, cool. I know exactly what to do. Where are you having the issues? Like what parts of the equipment? Because if it's a dirty piece of equipment, we have some kind of sensors we send for muddy areas, as opposed to like if it is a more ambient area where there's lots of air. Now, also we have to think about things like if it's going to be cold weather, what kind of sensors you send. So the first step is understanding the problem statements and then saying, okay, this is a site that I also monitor. And based on that, I know it's not going to be cold all year long. I know if we have a temperature sensor there, if it's going to be hot, a temperature sensor there during summer period is going to spike. And alert our dashboards that something's off, whereas the reality of things is that it's just hot. Like we have a lot of plants in Florida that whenever I think like April or March comes around, we go, oh brother, because the entire dashboard lights up because it's just hot. It's hot. We had a case where an alligator found its way into an MCC room. Like I'm sure you're aware of what the MCC is, and you know it's meant to be in like a cool region. And I think they like cool areas. Some have popped open the MCC room, and the alligator basically found his way into this room and bit on some cables. And when we were like, something's off, can't really figure it out. Somebody went there to go take a look at what was going on, and all he saw was just a giant, I think he said it was like 6 to 8 foot
Oh my gosh.
handling business, chewing whatever was chewing. Florida, don't go to Florida. Point is, a lot of my job just involves like managing those services. An example is like, let's say I find that a particular sensor that we have is just not applicable for a lot of like places. I have to figure out a way to do more research to find better sensors. And then because it's a sensor implemented at these sites, there's things like security protocols. You have firewalls that don't allow data transmission from the site that is not allowed. So you have to set up firewall rules that allow flow of data. So I work with those engineers who support me to do those things. But I also create like workflow books. I like to call them playbooks because it's like a play, right? Like you want to deploy a sensor to a site, it has information on IP configurations, information on what ports to use, information on how to install it, who to contact, you have an issue, architecture. It's very detailed. So my job involves me managing those services as well as finding ways to optimize it to get better solutions. Or like, let's say I make a playbook for 4 sites. On the 5th site, it's is not working, meaning that like it's not a scalable playbook. I
Yeah.
had to revisit it with the fifth site. Are you following it line by line? Like, what can we do to discuss to evade this issue?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times I bring in like SMEs who obviously know well about like IP config. I didn't start off like obviously with a technology degree, so things like IP configuration are things that I had to learn on the way. But I'm still not the best at those things.
Yeah.
And one very important thing to highlight when it comes to 9 to 5 as opposed to school is if you're not good at it, ask somebody to do it.
Yes.
Ask somebody to do it because you as a person become an SME on one matter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to learn other things, but it's also important to recognize your strengths because now if it's a point in time where they have an issue, they recognize that you are an SME for that matter. You can take it off the plate. It's got like a, do me, I do situation. Even though it's not ideally how to explain this, but it's like you help somebody, they obviously they want to help you right back. So it makes life easier.
Yeah, for sure.
So now
Wow.
CPO.
Wow. So would you say that like, because you don't directly use like chemical engineering stuff. So would you say that like the biggest thing is going back to, or I guess the skill that you use the most as it relates to Georgia Tech is like knowing how to think about these problems? Would you say that that's the case?
I think that's 100% the case. And then balancing is very tricky
Yeah.
because it comes with prioritization.
Mm-hmm.
Because balancing involves you thinking about the fact that, like, let's say you manage as a product owner, I have tools that man. Let's say I have 5 tools.
Yeah.
If 5 of these go on fire, I cannot put my hand on everything.
Yeah.
You have to know how to understand which one is the biggest business costs.
Yeah.
So that also brings into like your BA skills as a business analyst, and that just comes with experience at the site, like with
Mm-hmm.
the company. So I think like a lot of my role is involved that, and ultimately it goes back to what you just said, right?
Yeah.
Like thinking, like knowing how to think, as well as just like balancing. You
Yeah.
understand?
Speaking
So I
of,
think. Mhm.
I was gonna say, while you're talking about balancing, what does a work-life balance look like now? Touch on that briefly, since you can go to work and then you don't have homework. So what is it? How easy or difficult has it been for you to implement a healthy work-life balance?
I think um I think those things definitely start with like college.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, like things as little as I love to go to the gym in the morning. I prefer going to like morning gym sessions, do it and get it out of the way, bro. Like
Yeah.
obviously I don't hate the gym, but I have other things to do besides the gym.
Yeah.
But then I do the gym at like 6:37. I'm back home by 8:39, 8:30-ish, shower, I'm ready for work at 9. And that's like my ideal Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
Now, work-life balance, I think it's very interesting because when you first start off working, a lot of folks put their best foot forward.
Yeah.
That's good, that's bad. That's good because now you set an expectation to your boss, expectation for your boss, not to for. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to speak my mouth. Expectation for your boss to know that you are able to handle what she's given to you or what
Yeah.
he's given to you. I say she because I've had like three bosses and they've all been women.
Okay. Yeah.
So what she's given to you,
Yeah.
that's good. Why is that bad? It's bad because now you've set that expectation, and even though that's not your norm, just put your best foot forward because
Yeah.
like you're trying your best. Now, once that's the bar, you can't go below the bar.
Yeah.
So a lot of my initial time out of college was actually spent just having this crazy bar of like, I
Yeah.
want to just do everything. And then it bit into my personal life because at that point in time, like I would be working, like I would stop working at 5, start working at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
just to like get work done while hanging with my friends, just doing other life activities. Like while that's a good balance, I still felt like balance was needed to be had.
Yeah.
So my current work-life schedule just kind of involves my Mondays to Fridays being very strict with my 9 to 3:34.
Mm-hmm.
People like to do it to 5, but by 3, please go.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed.
And because for me, a lot of my job involves me talking.
Yeah.
So by 2:33, I'm typically done because a lot of people like morning time, 2 o'clock, at that point, I'm wrapping up my West Coast facilities. We're done with
Yeah.
that conversation. So it just because they're in the morning time for them. So I'm typically done. And I do some admin stuff like I update my user stories.
Yeah.
I I reach out
Gotta
to
keep
like
those user stories updated. Yes.
I tell everybody this. Just work with it. Let's just do it. Let's just get it updated one time. And all you need to do is just add some lines every now and then.
Yeah.
But the issue everyone has is nobody ever wants to start building user story. That's a different conversation.
Yeah.
Let's keep
Let's move on.
let's move
But yeah.
on. But point is that my current balance involves like, like gym in the morning, a night at 3:30 schedule, off of work, just take a breather. I like to go on walks. I like to just sit on the balcony. And then the evenings, just like I would just do other things. I would hang out with friends. I currently have an organization that my friends and I own. A lot of my time in my afternoons involves me spending time just kind of like going through like let's say different venues we have in mind, having conversation with different vendors who want to come to our events,
Yeah.
potential partnerships. Like a lot of my evenings are actually spent doing that. But then recently I was taking a course for certification. So my past like month or so involved my evenings obviously studying for that course, and that's done with now. So I'm about to go back to regular schedule program, which is like just spend my evenings chilling, hanging out,
Yeah.
planning for my events and things of that sort. So
Yeah.
that's my balance right now.
I think that's a really good point because when you do start, if you set the bar at I'm gonna work every day from 8 to 6 o'clock, then you set up a habit that people expect. So then you have to like rework it. So it's a good point to like always put your best foot forward, of course, but think about, long term what you want your days to look like. So that's really good. So we're gonna rapid fire this next set of questions. Okay.
Rapid fire.
Think the first couple things that come to your mind. Okay. This section of questions is called If You. If you were a manager and you were building your team from scratch, you're looking at resumes from freshly graduated students. What are the top 3 qualities that you will be looking for in your potential hires?
I see a very heavy question, Brianna.
No. I'm so sorry.
I got you. So I think the top 3 things I think about is technical ability. Okay. To start a team, to start a brand new team, you need people that are well technically versed to kind of string along. Because obviously you're learning as you're going. You need people who are open-minded to learning not only the interpersonal skills but also the technical skills for the project, depending on the scope of the project. Yeah, those kind of people. Now, another thing I think is important: interpersonal skills. A lot of folks on paper, GPA 3.9, look at them face to face, they won't say a word. Yeah. That's not a personal skill. I would love to have somebody who is technically gifted and has technical skills. Okay. I would prefer someone who has interpersonal skills and less of technical ability than someone who has all technical ability and no interpersonal skills. Okay. That's preferred. That's personal. So I can teach you technical, I can't teach you how to be a human being. Yes. That's good. Now, for a third one, I would just like someone who is just a very good communicator. Okay. So I feel like one thing I've found out about engineers in particular is engineers sort of communicating. Yeah. Jesus. We're all bad. Like, it's so bad. Like, just tell me what you need. And then you now get on the phone and read the problem statement from top to bottom. You need context, BJ. Without actually having, I don't know who's going to hear this.
If you worked for Webster's Dictionary and they said, BJ, we need you to write the definition of a chemical engineer. What would you write?
So I think a chemical engineer is someone who is very well versed in engineering principles. I feel like at the end of the day, engineering principles involves problem solving.
Yeah.
And the person who is very open-minded to open-minded to possibilities of what the solution can be.
Okay.
Because chemical engineer can work in as a computer scientist. Because a lot of chemical engineers that I personally even know, like they took an extra Java course, or even like that little MATLAB. They said because MATLAB is coding, you can scale those skills up into like an actual coding language like Java. I say actual like MATLAB isn't.
No, people have an opinion about it, and that's okay.
It's an opinion. It's an opinion, true. So I think like with those kind of skills, with the thinking skills you develop as a chemical engineer, you're able to basically apply it to anything else. But per my definition, I think is a well-rounded person who has a baseline foundation understanding of engineering principles.
Okay. And now just because I think you have a good answer to this, if you had to write the definition for what a technical product owner is, what would you write?
A technical product owner is a solutions guru. Who also has perfected the art of communication and understands business demand. So I think that's essential to highlight because
that was great.
That's important, yeah, to highlight because things like communication, you have to be well versed in communication as a technical product owner. You also have to be able to know when a solution is implementable and or scalable. Like a solution for a particular problem you're working on, it is something that can be applied for different sites. With a little bit of tweaking, it can be applied for different sites.
Yeah.
You have to understand your particular tools. So that's why I also mentioned that a product owner has to be a solutions, I would say, like guru, because you're going to be faced with a variety of solutions and you have to know whether or not it is a solution you can give an answer to. Yeah. Ideally, if they're coming to you, they expect an answer from you, or it's a solution that you know someone is better suited for, and then you know how to set it up to give the person who is demanding, and in lots of cases, people call it stakeholders. In the agile system, it's called you have to be able to direct your stakeholders to who the right resource is if you can't be that resource. So I think that's also a skill of the technical product owner. So hence my definition.
Wow. Those are great. And if I was your manager at Webster's Dictionary, I'd pay you a large check.
Yeah, a large check.
Yes. All right.
Make me feel like this was my student days. Pay me a bigger check than that.
For sure. And then one fun-ish question to round us out. If you could choose any fictional character to be your coworker, who would you choose?
Batman.
Batman?
Yeah.
Batman seemed like he would be the worst coworker ever in life.
I think he's very dual. Like he's dual-sided. Like Bruce Wayne is not Batman. Yeah. Bruce Wayne is Batman, but he's not Batman because they don't act the same way. I say that because it looks at my call because I felt very one-faced. Like,
okay.
Like, how do I explain this? What did you do this weekend? Oh, I went hiking. And they actually went hiking. Yeah. And that was all they did. Like, they spend our Mondays to Fridays. I also work with a lot of older people.
Okay.
So they strike me as this is their life.
Yeah.
But then with how I want my life to be structured and with how I would like people to just be in general, I think it's always nice to have two sides to a coin.
Okay.
Like if you, for example, if I was asked on Monday, how did my weekend go? I would go, I had a decent weekend. Point blank period. But if you asked me about my weekend, I will let you know, oh yeah, my organization did a sip and paints event. My friend had a birthday. I did this and that. I'm more open to sharing that part of my life to you than to them
Yeah.
because they lack that two sides of a coin.
Okay.
So Batman, because
he will work from 9 to 4 and then go beat up the Joker from 6 to 8. I understand. I get it.
And he was like also like a Gotham renowned playboy, unserious, this and that. But at the same time, he's very serious about fighting crime. Like you can't really tell how he switches, but he does it. So I would like a coworker who has that versatility.
Yeah. Wow.
Ideally.
That's a great answer. And then I will give you the floor. That was one of the best answers that I've heard about a fictional character. That was good. And then I'm going to give you the floor. Do you have any last words of advice for anyone who would want to study chemical engineering or early career advice? I'll let you take your pick. Or you can do both, whichever you feel in your spirit.
Go into tech. That's my answer. Like go into technology. Because the world and the way the world is adapting and how things are changing, you don't want to be left behind the curve. Mm-hmm. You understand? Like, I would say go into technology in different aspects. Like, technology doesn't start and end with coding. Mm-hmm. It's like technical product owners in some cases are tech related. Not my company though. For me, I don't really claim tech. I just claim that like I'm a product owner and that's about what I do. Mm-hmm. But then that role with my skill sets can still function at a tech company. Mm-hmm. Because at the end of the day, right, like it's still tech, but at the end of the day, what it's really asking for is how to think, how to communicate, how to be a solutions guru, as I mentioned earlier on. Yeah. So I think everyone should go into tech to not be left behind the curve. That's the first thing. And the second thing is the way the world is changing so fast, you also want to be able to change with the world. You want to be able to obtain the most knowledge you can get. And the last thing is tech pays the most money out of any career, unless you're in finances, you're like a private accountant, investment banking, it pays the most money. Don't follow money, follow tech, but tech brings money, so follow money. So also know that I'm joking, but point says just go into tech. That's the end.
First of all, that advice is hilarious. That should be somebody's like, what is it, like their bio on whatever?
Yeah,
that's great. Oh man. All right, BJ, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you.
This was fun, Brianna. I do appreciate you for doing this, and this is a blessing to a lot of people. You probably don't even know what your reach is going to be like, but like you're doing an amazing job. Shout out to you.
Thank you so much. I hope so. Thanks, BJ.